What up, Buck Nation? Welcome back to another one of my videos. An excellent, much needed win. Probably the most important Bucks game in the last 5 years or so. Definitely very important in terms of seeding and getting in a position to control the ship in terms of the playoffs. But before I get into my reaction to this, I am Rami B. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I post weekly Buccaneer videos. And as you can see, I'm back to normal. I'm back home in Kansas City, back home in my normal setup. Got a little new thing from Mexico from my trip, a Buck sugar skull with my little wedding date on here. And yeah, we are going to get into this. If you see me looking over to the side, I'm just looking at some stats to make sure that I am accurate. But let's get into it. So the Bucks pulled off a 26-14 win against the hot Minnesota Vikings, a team that started off 1-5 and is now 6-6. They really turned it around after the sixth game of the season. The beginning of the game was kind of rough. They were moving the ball, and there's no problem rushing left and right. They didn't really have any issues moving the ball or anything like that. They were moving the ball with ease, and at one point, and after their second drive, they had taken like the entire first quarter and like half of the second quarter, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a long day. But they missed that field goal, and then little did we know that they were going to miss a bunch of kicks, and the momentum was going to switch to the Bucs side. So overall, they had 335 yards of offense, 173 passing, and 162 rushing. I believe that is our worst rush defensive performance of the season. The Bucs had 303 yards total, 196 passing, and 107 rushing, so not bad overall. But Minnesota did control the time of possession, 39 minutes to 20, almost 21 minutes. Yeah, so like I said, they controlled the ball, had the momentum for most of the game. Their rush game is definitely very lethal. I thought we'd be okay in terms of rush defense, but Dalvin Cook gashed us. He was the first running back since Chris Carson, since the Seattle game last year, mid-season point. That was the last time we had a 100-yard rusher, and then Dalvin Cook did it today. But let's go into the Bucs stats. So Brady was 15 of 23 for 196 and 2 touchdowns, with that beautiful touchdown being that 48-yard bomb to Scotty Miller. Rojo was 18 for 80 with 1 touchdown. Near the end of the game, when we started running a little bit more, he was starting to break some out in those last couple of drives. And then LaShawn McCoy, surprisingly, 4 rushes for 32 yards, 8 yards per carry. I know he hadn't played the last few games, and when he rushed, I think he had for the season -1 yards. But today he got 32 on 4 carries. I don't know what was different or why they thought maybe, you know, this would be a good matchup. But it worked. He did gain some yards in one drive for us. In terms of receiving, Evans had 3 for 56, AB 5 for 49, Scotty Miller had 1 for 48 in that beautiful touchdown I told you. Perfectly thrown ball by Brady, perfectly placed for Scotty Miller with the concentration. Yeah, it was just a perfect ball, perfect touchdown. Godwin had 2 for 25, and Gronk had 1 catch for 2 yards, which was a touchdown. Brady rolled out. I read it was his second touchdown this season of him rolling out. Perfect throw as well. Gronk was in the best, good position and put us up early. Gave us a pretty comfortable lead. In terms of defense, Kirk went 24-37 for 225 and 1 touchdown. He was killing us down the middle of the field with the tight ends a little bit. Like I said, Dalvin Cook had 22 carries for 102 yards and 1 touchdown. It was 4.4 yards per carry, and none of the receivers had over 50 yards, but there was a bunch in 40-yard territory. So he was definitely spreading the ball out to a bunch of different receivers and things like that. But on our defensive side, JPP had 1 forced fumble and recovery. It was a strip sack at the Vikings' last drive. It was their last play on 4th down. Overall, we had 6 sacks total, 1 from Antoine Winfield, which was also a forced fumble that Kirk Cousins laid on when they were, I think, inside the 10, and it pushed them way back out to the 30, I want to say. That, and then there was another sack after that. So 6 sacks total, like I said, 1 by Antoine Winfield, which was a forced fumble, 1 by JPP. There was 1 by Patrick O'Connor, 1 by Sue, and then 2 by Shaq Barrett, who in the last month has kind of come alive. He's been able to start getting some pressure. I know he was like among the league leaders in QB pressures and QB hits, but now the sacks are starting to come along. I think he's got 6 in the last 4 games or something like that. I could be wrong, don't quote me there. But overall, the defensive performance, like I said, in the first half we were struggling a little bit in terms of rush defense. And then I want to say somewhere between the second half of the second quarter till about the beginning of the fourth, our defense kind of locked down, and Minnesota was struggling a little bit to move the ball. And then kind of in the fourth quarter, they were able to figure something out and adjust and move the ball. But overall, it was a performance that we definitely needed. We definitely needed that win, sitting at 7-5, and they were 6-6. If we lost, we'd jump to the 7th wild card spot. They'd have the tiebreaker, all that kind of stuff. But like this, we put us 2 games ahead of them. I think we're also maybe 2 games ahead of the Cardinals. I don't know. I know they were beating the Giants, but I don't remember what the record was. They may be a game behind us or not, but it kind of puts us in the driver's seat of that position. Maybe we are 2 games ahead of them too, even if they win, which puts us in prime position. The team ahead of us is the Seattle Seahawks. They have 1 more win than us. They're 8-4. I don't know if they play tonight or tomorrow or playing now, but that is a big one. If they lose, I don't know how the tiebreakers work, but there's definitely a chance for us to move back into the 5th wild card position, which would put us against the NFC East winner, who I think right now is the Giants. At our current 7th seed, we would be going to Green Bay in January in the cold weather, and that would be definitely a very tough game to play. But I think we are in good position. Next week we have Atlanta. I don't remember if it's on the road, or I think it is on the road. I could be wrong. Then we have Detroit, and then we have Atlanta again. Atlanta, once they fire their head coach and put Raheem Morris up there as the head coach, they've kind of turned it around a little bit, started winning some more games. So definitely a team not to sleep on, a team that could beat us since they are a division rival, but I confidently can say we probably will win that and go 3-0 the rest of the schedule and finish with an 11-5 record. I think before last season I predicted an 11-5 record, but we could also be 10-6. I feel comfortable if we're 10-6. Once we get in the playoffs, depending on the seeding of the wild card, you know, it like restarts the entire season over, and then every game's really important at that point. So I think as long as we get in and get a favorable matchup, we should be okay. But yeah, Buck Nation, please comment down below. What did you think of this performance? I know it wasn't Brady's best game in the first quarter. He was missing receivers and things like that, but the offense did kind of turn it on in the second quarter and into the third. So what do you think? And let me know also what you think about Raheem Morris running the Falcons. I know I was a big fan of Raheem Morris. I was wondering why after he got fired by us, he didn't have another chance, or like, I don't think he interviewed much for other head coach positions, but I know in Atlanta, the Super Bowl year, he switched from, I think he was a defensive coach to offensive coach, and that guy really deserves another chance. He wasn't bad in Tampa. He was just very young, and we had a very young team, and he wasn't that experienced. But I think now he deserves a legitimate shot at running a team, and you know, I hope he does run the Falcons moving forward, and they hire him as their primary, you know, head coach and not just interim head coach. But yeah, Bucks Nation, thank you for tuning in. As always, let's go Bucks. 8-5 on the season. We got 3 more important games. Let's finish this out with double-digit wins. We've already passed last year's win total. We were 7-9 last year. 8 wins. 2016 with Dirk, we were 9-7. So I'm hoping we can pass that and have our first double-digit win season since 2010 with Raheem Morris when we went 10-6. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and as always, I am out.
Our offense tough, our defense rough. Go Bucks, go Bucks. Ain't no other team stopping us. Go Bucks, go Bucks.